Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video on 7.3.6. This is going to be the second paradox path. So here the way you gain a paradox charge is when you use a 5-hit combo, and how you lose it is when you do an intercept on the opponent on his light or medium attacks. Now with every paradox charge, your potency of your debuff is increased by 30% because of Entropic Extinction, but if you go below 3 of them, then he becomes debuff immune. And to top of that, there is also safeguard, so it is best to bring in champions that have bleeds or any kind of damage over time that work really well. And to help you with the intercepts, there is also another node that is aggressive, so all of that combines in together for this path. It starts with Punisher 2099 with Voids. There's quite a few annoying fights here, so you have to pick the right champions to face each and every one of them. But the real catch comes when you look at the boss. The boss is going to be Kang, and he's going to have Neuro-Kinetic Paradox Fury node on him, so you can only use 3 class champions, either Cosmic, either Skill, or either Science, because those are the only ones that can do damage to Kang, other ones cannot. There's another catch to that. We will discuss that more once we get to the boss fight, but the champions I've mentioned on the right, they have some sort of damage over time with them, so these are some good options to use. But make sure that you have a good counter for Void and a good counter for Punisher 2099 and Guardian before you jump into the path. So, having said all of that, let's look at the mastery setup. The mastery setup is going to be with non-suicides because of the kind of defenders you're going to be there. There's going to be a Void that is really bad, and there's going to be a Punisher 2099 that will heal block you. So I would highly suggest you to do a non-suicide setup for this. So I hope all of this info helps you out, guys. But let's jump into the path. But before we do, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those post notifications. All of that really helps me out a lot. So the first fight is going to be against a Punisher 2099. He is going to be super annoying because he's going to throw a lot of specials, and with specials will be a lot of block damage, and he will heal block you with all specials as well. So not a really fun fight to deal with first up, but he's one of the worst ones in the path. The rest of the path is much easier. The way I've gone through this path, I've brought in a Magneto. That's the only mutant champion. While I'm aware that mutant champions will not do any damage to Kang, so I've brought in only one mutant champion. I will run the path through him, and then I will swap him out at the champion select screen, so I will have all the right classes. So I would highly suggest, if you have a Magneto, bring him in and then use that. Or Tigra also works really good if you want to swap out her later. Also, some good champions are going to be like your Quake will work really well here, or Hyperion. Any champion with damage over time or who has some kind of a sustain or is tanky can be good for this fight. Otherwise, if you're happy to use 1 or 2 revives, you can get through this fight as well. The block damage is a lot on his SP1 and SP2. Also, remember to finish the fight with your champion as much as paradox as possible, because those paradox will be converted into fury and do extra damage to Kang when we get to the boss fight. So just something to keep in mind. The next defender is going to be a Spidergwen. Now she can be annoying if you do not bring in a champion that can bypass his weight. So there's quite a few different champions you can use. There is going to be Venom, there is going to be also Cosmic Red Goblin. Both of them can ignore the evade on Spider-Verse champions. Also, champions that have true strike, so for example your Moleman works really well. Also, you can use Falcon as well. Nick Fury on his second life with 5 tactical charges works, and also you can also Quake this fight. Quake also works really well. So again, depends on you what champion you want to use. Her both specials can be evaded easily. The only thing you need to take care about is to finish off the fight with quite a few paradox charges. I would say anything between 6 to 8 will be great, but yeah, all of those paradox charges will be converted into furies once you go into the boss fight, that is Kang. So just be careful about that. Make sure that you have some paradox charges saved up on you, so the boss fight is a bit easy for you to navigate through. Now next defender is going to be a Mysterio. Now Mysterio, there's quite a few different ways you can deal with him. I am just going to bring in a Magneto and just slowly build up my prowess charges and then throw an SP3 and kill him off. Same old thing, you can also bring in champions that have quite a few armor breaks on them, so you can use Cosmic Ghost Rider, you can use Red Goblin as well. Venom with his heavy attacks is also a good option, or you can use champions that can shrug off debuffs. So for example, Mole Man can shrug off his poisons and everything, and his bleeds will, because of Paradox, will have their potency increase, so they will kill Mysterio off very quick. You can also use champions like Nick Fury, he works really well. Also, another good champion that works here is going to be a Captain America Infinity War. You can bring him with a cosmic champion with those constant armor breaks, or if you're gonna combine him with a skill champion, you can get debuff, you can shrug off debuffs also. So depending, you can also bring in both as well, what champion you have available, so you can use that. So it's quite a few different options to take out Mysterio. The only thing is going to be his SP1 and SP2. After SP1 he has a small timer because of return damage, and after SP2 he has a small timer where he can cause you to miss, and his heavy attack AI is also very weird. He will just throw heavy attacks out of nowhere, so you just have to be careful about that, the usual Mysterio shenanigans, and then you should be okay, you should be able to take him down. Next defender is going to be a Hulk Ragnarok. Now here you can again use a Magneto here because Hulk Ragnarok is a metal champion, but I'm just using a Mole Man just to show off like how fast he will delete or melt an opponent once you have those paradox charges built up. So right now I'm just using 5-hit combos to build up those paradox charges, and once I have that, I will quickly try and jump to my frenzy mode, and then all of those bleeds with those increased potency of 30% per paradox charge will really melt away the defender very quickly. So if you have a Mole Man, he can run through this path very fast, and he can also do a lot of damage on the boss that is going to be Kang as well. But just make sure that you finish the fight having 6 to 8 paradox charges ready on you, so those can be converted into Furies, and you can bypass the node on Kang that is going to be Neuro-Kinetic Paradox with Furies. Next defender is a pretty annoying Guardian. Now there are quite a few different ways you can deal with him. In my case, I'm gonna bring in a Magneto A because Guardian is a metal champion, and because of ability accuracy reduction on Guardian, I will get a constant shock debuff on myself, and that will help me because I'm running willpower that will heal me. I'm running willpower without the suicide, so that will help me heal up quite easily. All I need to do is to build up my SP3 and then throw it. I would suggest you to use an SP2 first so you can armor break him, and then you can just use parry and heavy to refresh that, and then build up an SP3 so you can do the full amount of damage. Now if you don't have Magneto, other options can be champions that can easily armor break. So for example, your Hyperion, your Red Goblin, your Captain America Infinity War with a Cosmic Champion, your Venom. Another very interesting option is going to be your Hit Monkey with either Rocket Raccoon, or you can also use with Squirrel Girl. Any one of them, that synergy will help will give a chance to armor break on criticals, and because of all the criticals on Hit Monkey, you should be easily to armor break him. You remove his armor, the rest of the fight becomes super easy. So I hope that helps out. So let's jump on to the last fight. That is going to be against the Void. Now again, he's not a difficult defender to deal with. The only thing is you need to take care about the counter on the top, so to remove those non-damaging debuffs, but you can bypass that by bringing in champions that can remove non-damaging debuffs. So in my case, I am using an Elsa Bloodstone. Now Elsa Bloodstone will remove those non-damaging debuff and convert them into precisions, and same goes with Mole Man. Mole Man also works really good. Another good champion that works here is Nick Fury. You can knock him down, and because these champions do good bleeds as well, so you can easily convert those bleeds into longer ones because of the 30% increased potency with the paradox charges. Same goes with Daredevil's Hell Kitchen, and also you can bring in Kingpin with synergy with Hood as well, and also Shang-Chi is a good option. There's plenty of different options that can deal with Void and his mechanics, but again, bring in a champion that you can use against Kang, and make sure that you have built up 6 to 8 paradox charges, so you can convert them to Furious once you find Kang, and you are able to do damage to him because he takes damage only from 3 classes. That is going to be Cosmic, Science and Scale on this path. Another good thing about Elsa Bloodstone is she has a built-in intercept mechanic, so that's an easy way for you to remove the paradox charge if you go too much on the higher side. Now before we jump on to the Kang fight, let's understand the node. The node is going to be Neuro-Kinetic Paradox Fury. So for every paradox charge that you have saved up, those are going to be converted into Fury, and for every Fury, the protection on Kang's suit is going to be reduced by 25% to a maximum of 200. So the more paradox charges you have saved up, the more helpful it is. Now step 2, you can only use either Skill, Cosmic or Science champions because others will not do any damage to Kang. And again, for paradox charges, the more you save, the more damage you can do on the opponent. Now there are some champions that have built-in Furies and Precision, so they can work without saved paradox. So Hyperion, Venom, Medusa with Black Bolt, Gamora, Elsa Bloodstone with the Precisions, and Black Bolt on his own are some really good options because they can have their own Furies and own Precision without requiring any paradox, and those are counted towards reducing the damage reduction on Kang's Neuro-Kinetic suit. So if you have any one of those champions, I would highly recommend to bring them. In my case, in my team, what I did is on the champion select team, I removed away Magneto because Magneto was not going to do any damage, and I brought in Hyperion because with Hyperion I don't need the paradox charges. I can simply just go in, parry heavy and use those Furies. Now for the Kang fight, if you need a complete breakdown on the fight, check out my easy path video. I've explained everything in detail, but I'll go past very quick for this one. So I had 7 charges saved up on Moon Melon, so I have 7 Furies, and now the damage I can do 175% more damage to Kang. Now the first way is pretty straightforward. It will just give you prompts on the top right. You will see that's 2 and 3. So right now I have to use an SP2 to complete that, and as soon as I complete that, because I've completed 3 prompts, I got him to a wounded state, and as soon as I start hitting him, he goes down to his second phase, that is at 90% HP to 51%. Now here I have to complete 4 prompts before he gets into a wounded state and takes damage. So right now I have to get to an SP3, so I'm gonna wait for him to throw his SP1. I evade all 3 beams, and with that I get to an SP3 very quick. So whenever you will evade an SP3 beam, you will gain power. Whenever you will block, you will burn your power. So that's something to keep in mind for the whole fight. And once you use an SP3, the next command prompt will come up. So the whole idea is that you complete those prompts, and once you have completed enough of them that is required for that phase, you can hit him in his wounded state. Now there are certain differences. So for example, in phase 2, your power gain from FC1, the power gain that you get from the dexing SP1 from Kang is increased by 50%. So it'd be easier for you to get to an SP3, but it'd be harder for you to go down 0 bars of power, and the cost of specials is also reduced by 50%. So again, it works like a power reserve. You won't be able to get your power low very quick. So I think this is the place where I tried to get down to 0 power, but I couldn't get down there because it was hard to reduce my power without getting Kang to an SP1, but I lose that out right there. And also another thing, that every second your attacker will keep gaining 1% bar of power, so you will really need to be careful. If it shows you a 0 command prompt, then you have to really bring down your power. After that, he got wounded and I started hitting him, and he went down to 50%. Now phase 3 is going to be from 50% HP to 2%. Now here you will start losing your max 1% of your max power every second. So now it will be difficult to go to an SP3. And if you use the same type of combo, like for example, if you use a basic attack combo and you finish with medium and you use the same one again with medium, you will lose power. So the hardest part here is going to be getting to an SP3. Here champions like Hyperion work really well with natural power gain. You can easily get to an SP3. I think I lose my Mole Man here, and I come back with Hyperion to take him out. Now with Hyperion, you will notice I don't have any paradox charges built up on me, so I don't have any indefinite furies, but I can use the parry and heavy mechanic, and the heavy will stack up all of those furies on me, and then that will also reduce Kang's suit's damage reduction, and that will help me out. So all I'm trying to do is to keep up my furies, so I can always try to keep up above 8 so I can do extra damage to him while trying to finish off the prompts. Now this is an interesting one. I'm already in SP3 and you will notice my power is going to SP3 and SP2 is flickering in between, but because Hyperion has power gain, it's easier to get an SP3. To be honest, Hyperion is one of the best champions to get through phase 3 or the final phase, regardless of whatever node you go on to on Kang. So if you have Hyperion, he's an amazing champion for this fight, so I would suggest you to bring him for every path. Again, now I am almost brought him down to 10%. Once he gets there to 2%, we will get into phase 3, so I will see you there, guys. So as soon as you get to phase 3, he will go in a defensive mode and the power loop will be broken. Now the more near you stay to him, you will gain power. The more further away you will stay to him, you will not gain power and he will. This is a race to an SP3. So Hyperion works really well because you have a built-in power gain and you can get to an SP3 faster. And if you use the defensive phase to build up Furies, it's a sure shot kill in the end. So you just build up to SP3 and throw it and Kang will die. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found all the info helpful. I'll be jumping back to 7.3.1 and start doing the remaining parts. So stay tuned guys and make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn on those post notifications. All of that really helps me out a lot and helps me grow the channel. And apart from that, I hope you all have an amazing day and I'll see you next time.